start with is the Boston Celtics. Obviously, they were the runner-up last season. They made it to the finals. I think we all think they probably came back a little bit stronger. Looking at their roster, obviously they added Malcolm Brogdon via trade. They also added Gallinari, and yeah, they added Gallinari and they added Robert Williams. They didn't really lose anybody out of their rotation, if I'm not mistaken. And again, they added Malcolm Brogdon and Gallinari. So, what do you think about the Boston Celtics? Do you think these moves help them? What are your fears about the Celtics? Yeah.
I think the moves definitely helped them. We've talked about this on the podcast before, but yeah, what they did kind of like is exactly kind of what they needed. We all pretty much agreed that they needed somebody else to take the ball handling duties away from Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and kind of push them more into their spots and kind of get them the ball instead of them kind of initiating offense for themselves. They kind of did exactly what you would need. They added another veteran floor spacer in Danilo Gallinari. Brogdon was a great pickup. He's probably one of the top 15 to 20 guards in the league. Shoot the lights out, high IQ, a guy who can really initiate your offense and knock down a shot when you need him to, or even create his own shot. But they did exactly what you would think, what you would need of them to do this offseason. Shout out to Brad Stevens in that front office for addressing that pretty much immediately. They didn't waste any time to acquire Brogdon. It was one of the first moves of the offseason, right? The Brogdon accusation was one of the So shout out to them for immediately, right after they found pretty much one of the first moves. They addressed what needed to be fixed. Now this pretty much only thing with them is I feel like the East is going to beef up a little bit more next year with a healthy Harden, healthy Chris Middleton, guys coming back. But they did their part as far as like to compete with these the monsters of the East who are coming back healthy next year. I don't expect them to go back to the finals next year, but I wouldn't be 100% shocked if they do get back to the finals. I don't expect them to. I'm not going to say that I expect them to, but I wouldn't be shocked if they do get back. But I do not expect them to. They have the personnel to get there, and they have the star talent. Obviously, Jaylen Brown and Tatum are only trending up, only getting better from here. They had obviously very kind of, a lot of people would say, as you would say, maybe a disappointing finals, but it's only going up from here. Tatum.
One person had one. It wasn't they. It was him. One man. I watched a full playoffs
here
montage.
You go.
No, listen, literally last night I watched a full playoff montage of like highlights. You know who only had one highlight the entire 20-minute thing?
The finals?
No, the whole playoffs. You know who had one highlight?
Wait, nah, don't do that.
Gee, no, literally, it's on the NBA's YouTube. I'm dead ass it. Go on the NBA's YouTube. Look up the best moments of the 2022 playoffs. Jason Tatum had one highlight. That was that layup game winner. Man's had one highlight in a 20-minute. I'm dead ass serious. He had one highlight.
They didn't put the three ball in Giannis' eye socket in game 6.
He had one. No, he had one highlight in a 20-minute compilation. Everything you saw in a Celtics jersey came from Marcus Smart or Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum was nowhere to be found throughout the entire compilation.
That's insane. He getting blackballed like young boy. He getting blackballed out here. That's
not
crazy.
That good. He was not that good. But pretty much I kind of agree with everything that you said. I think that probably, Al Horford played incredible last playoffs. That's probably you probably can't get that again. Like that was probably the last hurrah of Al Horford. So I do
you
like
think
the fact
so?
You can't
probably go low managed for the majority of the year.
But he was shooting like 50% from 3 at one point, dog. Like I'm like we not like we like the man was pump faking and dunking on Giannis. We probably not getting that again, bro.
Man, they said he was watching OKC. He was bad in Philadelphia. I ain't gonna write it off on him because I know you're not gonna run him into the ground in the regular season. They got plenty of bodies. They got plenty of bigs for that between Robert Williams and all the other guys they have. But I wouldn't write Al Horford off in the playoffs because
Al Horford is 36 years old. If they make it back to the finals, he will be 37 years old next year. We have probably seen that was probably the last hurrah of Al Horford. But I want to say that that's okay because I love what they have done to their roster. Like I love the pickup of Malcolm Brogdon. I think it slides everybody into their correct positions. I don't think Marcus Smart, even Marcus Smart, I think Marcus Smart had too many ball handling responsibilities last year. I think Marcus Smart as your actual point guard, that probably isn't what you want to do. I think Marcus Smart is just like another ball handler. You're off ball handler per se, like some guys who can run some offense.
I feel you, but kind of. Marcus Smart is he's a very unique player to say the least. He's capable of doing a lot of things.
He's capable, but I don't want him I want to use him like a Patrick Beverley when it comes to running like a offense. You wouldn't let Patrick Beverley just run a full
I don't know. He's a little better than Patrick Beverley offensively. He's a little better. He can
Yes, but
distribute a lot better. He can kind of get
yes.
his shot on. He gets to the rim. Marcus Smart can get to the rim when he
No,
wants
no,
to.
no,
He's
no, no,
not.
no, 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 no. No, no, no. Smart is a guy who, like, if he scores 20 points, I'm not shocked. It's just I feel like Boston leaned on him too many times to score the ball and to facilitate last year when I don't think that's what he does best. Not that he can't do it. That's just not what he does best. So I like picking up Malcolm Brogdon, having a guy who, he's had a 50,
Yeah,
40, 90 season before.
definitely.
He's always averages about 7 to 8 assists. He's been pretty much the main ball handler for most of the teams he was on, outside of when he was with the Bucks and they would let Giannis do what Giannis did. But he's pretty much the main ball handler for most of the teams that he's been on when he's been on the court. It's the only thing about Malcolm Brogdon is health. Recently Malcolm Brogdon hasn't been the healthiest person. But you would think
That's
maybe
fair.
he has
That's
less.
true.
But you would think maybe he has less on him now, having Jalen Brown, having Marcus Smart, having Tatum, and like I said, I think it slides everybody up in the lineup. It allows Horford to go to the bench, and then when you look at their bench, adding up Danilo, I think it's huge. I think one thing you saw in the finals was that they had like no bench scoring. Like you would look at the box score, and everything would come from the first 5 people that played. The
Who
bench
were
would
the
have like
starters? Who were the starters? It was Marcus Smart, Tatum
Marcus
Brown,
Smart, Tatum,
Robert
Brown,
Williams,
Robert Williams, and Horford.
Horford. I mean, Grant Williams would come off the bench sometimes. He was streaky. He definitely
Yeah,
was streaky, but he produced
yeah,
sometimes off the bench.
yeah. But then you got to the finals. Peyton Pritchard didn't do anything anymore. Grant Williams didn't do anything anymore. Derek White forgot how to shoot. So I
He
think
had that one good game. Yeah, game one he went
yeah,
crazy. Then after that, he just
he just
kind of
forgot how to
disappeared.
shoot.
He
Like
was going. Draymond talked about how frustrated he was with Derek White after that. Was hilarious. I remember watching Draymond's podcast. Like he was talking about how he was closing out on Derek White and he was just making everything. It was
yeah, and
crazy.
then he came back down to earth. But I think adding,
Yeah.
but I think adding the needle to that bench, and also I'm assuming this is what's going to happen. Sliding Horford to the bench as well. And again, I think that put Tatum in his natural position, which is a 4. I think it put Brown in his natural position, which is a 3. I think and Smart and Broad
Brogdon, the Bass and Fire backcourt.
yeah, in your backcourt. And again, you
Love
have
that
Horford
backcourt.
and you have Danilo. I'm pretty sure if you have Horford and Danilo, you're not gonna go games where your bench is scoring like 10, 12 points. Danilo is a guy, obviously it's not 10 years ago, but Danilo was a guy who's averaged about 20 points in the league. So I'm assuming adding Horford and Danilo to your bench voices your bench along with what you already have. So again, I like what Boston has done. And I don't see why they can't get back to the finals. To me, I think it's a failure if they don't get back to the finals.
I feel you.
Obviously, I
If like
mean,
Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks didn't exist, I would agree with you. But it's
I
other teams.
mean,
These
yeah,
other
but
teams we get into as the podcast goes along. It's other teams is beefing up. Like
for
we
sure.
can get into it later, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. But there were people who picked Boston to beat the Bucks, even with. I was a person who picked the Bucks to beat Boston even without Chris Middleton. But still, when you look at what they've done, you look at who they've added. I don't think there's a team top to bottom on paper that we can say is definitively better than them. Even the Bucks. Obviously,
In
I
the
think
East,
Giannis
I
is
don't
probably
know.
the
I
best.
got a couple
I
teams
mean,
I think top to bottom could be better. I think honestly.
but there still it could be. It's not a definitive like, oh yeah, for sure this team is
Okay,
better.
definitive. Okay, that's
There's
fair.
no team that is definitively better. It's just
That's
when you
fair.
get on the court and how does it all play out? That's what we have to see. But all in all, I like what the Boston Celtics have done. Do you have a record prediction for the Celtics this season?
I think it's
Wait. One other thing I want to say. Boston, like, what's his name? Idoka? Ime?
Udoka the coach. Yeah.
Udoka? Brother, you
What
got to
about
get
him?
some more plays. Brother,
You're not
because,
rocking with the reading
brother,
react, pass and cut offense.
you got it, brother. You got to get some more plays besides
You gotta get
ISO
into his
and swing
spot.
the
You gotta
ball
get
around.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Yeah, because once
real quick. I'm gonna let you go real quick.
mm-hmm.
If you bring Brogdon over, yes, I think it helps. But if you're gonna run the same offense from last year, that shit ain't gonna matter. The only thing you did is add a better 3-point shooter, which is fair. But if you run the same offense from last year, that shit not finna matter. So I really hope they do a better job of getting people in their actual spots and not just isoing and swinging the ball around. So Udoka, yes, y'all caught that wave the last half of the season. There's tape out on you now. People know what you're doing. A lot of tape out on you now. People know what you're doing. So I hope that this year you come back in with some better plays and not doing that shit you was doing for the whole playoffs last year. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, I have to agree. Once you in the finals, obviously Boston came out on 2-1 start, right? They got up 2-1.
Yeah, I
They
think so
came
too.
out, and once the Warriors seemed like they switched, they kind of once they kind of scouted the first 3 games and they had it schemed, it seemed like they were just sort of forcing Jason Tatum Brown to their left. And once they sent him left, it was just throwing up like bullshit. Like legit, they was forcing them left, and then shit just went to hell. Like they got to be able to counter that. They got to be able to get Tatum the ball on the block, get him the ball on the wing, get him the ball in his positions, and he needs to be able to. They need to be able to score the ball when they aren't in their comfortable zones. Like it's just Udoka. Yeah, they're gonna definitely have to go into the playbook and get something going on because you shouldn't. It shouldn't be that easy to beat a professional player. I can see a high school team. If a high school team is losing because you're getting forced left, that's that's kind of fair because they're younger. But a professional team should not be losing a finals because you getting sent a certain way and you just kind of folding up as it happens. So they just got a couple small tweaks and they can be there. But yeah, that's pretty much with the Celtics.
But again, I never thought their offense was that good throughout the whole playoffs. Like their offense never impressed me, not once. The thing was that they would defend so well and they would shoot so many, like they would defend so well that usually they would never be out of games. And they would all and they had enough firepower. They could get hot for 2 to 3 minutes and take a 10-point lead, or just get themselves back.
Don't let Tatum get hot.
The only thing that happened in the finals was you ran into a team that defends just as well as you, and also has Steph Curry on it. So even if we can't score, we have probably one of the best. Not probably, we have probably a top 5 offensive player to ever play the game of basketball. So I never thought their offense was that good. I always thought their offense was really funky just because of how they ran it. But their defense was so good that they could get away with that last year. I hope that this year, with their additions that they had, their offense is a little bit more fluid,
a little smoother. That would be
smoother and less clunky. And we don't see Tatum having a NBA record for fucking turnovers.
Or NBA record, all NBA, or the most points in the postseason, things like that too as well. Don't forget about stuff like that as well.
Turnovers. He also played the most minutes for everybody. I don't think he had an NBA record for points.
Fire. Most minutes? That's fire. That means my best players are most available.
I feel you, but you also had the most turnovers. Had the most turnovers in the history of the NBA for a playoff series.
He's young. It happens. He'd be all right.
Most turnovers.
Outstanding year for Jason Tatum. First team All NBA. Saved his team when it was about to go out versus Antetokounmpo. Not too many players were able to do what he did that game. And
I still personally want to see more from Jason Tatum. I'm still not completely convinced.
In the finals, for sure.
I'm just not convinced with Jason Tatum yet in general.
He's no doubt a top 10 player.
Listen, fair. You can either be Kevin Durant or you can be Paul George. There's a difference between the two, though. Am I lying about that? There's a difference between the two. Kevin Durant and Paul George is different between the two.
There's a difference, most definitely.
Different between two. So that's
Paul George get to the finals though, like how Tatum did last year. I ain't seen that.
Paul George be on the team that damn good either.
Paul George never been on a team that good.
Well, okay. I mean, look, obviously the Clippers teams, yes. The Clippers teams, yes. The only year that you would say he's been on a team that good. The only team that you would, but that Pacers team didn't have no Marcus Smarts, didn't have no Jaylen Browns.
Team was pretty fire too.
Yeah, come on, G. That team didn't have no Marcus Smarts, no Jaylen Browns. That didn't have that didn't have no Marcus Smarts, Jaylen Browns.
They had MVP Westbrooks. They had
I understand that.
Buckets, they had Andre Robersons. They had Jeremy Grants.
That team was not the Boston Celtics. They weren't a bad team. Listen, they weren't a bad team, but that team was not the Boston Celtics.
George he's had really good teams. He just
had solid teams. They had it like bro.
Like Paul George.
The Celtics with the same pretty much core, which I think is Horford and Smart, in my personal opinion, is the core of the Celtics because they've been there the longest. We're still going to the conference finals with Isaiah Thomas. He's 5'9". We have to remember that. We do remember this. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just saying the core of this team was still going to the conference finals, no matter if Jason Tatum was on the roster or not. Paul George ain't never had no team like that.
He's had teams that are capable of getting there, but he just wasn't. He couldn't get them there.
He's had teams that were capable of getting there if he went on the roster. If he went on the roster.
I'm talking about Paul George specifically. He's had teams like that.
Listen to what I just said. I said the Boston Celtics, before Tatum was even a thought process, with the same core, which in my personal opinion, the core of the Celtics is Al Horford and Marcus Smart. Those guys like the heart and soul core of that team. Everybody else, I don't want to say is replaceable, but they placed those pieces around those guys, in my opinion, because they were still going to the conference finals with guys like Isaiah Thomas lead the team.
You can't say that like Isaiah Thomas was some sort of slouch or some shit.
I'm not saying that. Well, I'm not saying that. Who do you think is a better basketball player, Isaiah Thomas or Tatum?
Tatum.
Jaylen Brown, Isaiah Thomas.
I don't know if Jaylen Brown can put together a season now like Isaiah Thomas. That's not.
He just averaged 25 and gave you pretty damn good defense.
Isaiah Thomas was averaging 30 and giving you 50 in playoff games. He was going head to head with John Wall, making John Wall look like he ain't that great.
It was dope.
It was very dope. I don't know if I'm giving you that, G.
It was great. Give me Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown would
shout
never
out
have
Isaiah Thomas though. That's no look. Shout
Jaylen
out Isaiah Thomas.
Like Isaiah Thomas.
Listen, shout out Isaiah Thomas. That shit was incredible. It was dope. Give me Jaylen Brown.
Pulling off what Isaiah Thomas put off his best year of his career.
And Isaiah Thomas can't play the level of defense Jaylen Brown.
And he can give him
can't do all the things that on the floor that Jaylen Brown could do. Yes, he scored the ball better that season. He did score the ball better that season. And if you look at percentages, did he really score the ball better that season?
Yes, he was the best fourth quarter scorer. I'm pretty sure it was him and Westbrook was neck and neck for top fourth quarter scorer that year. He always got their bucket when they needed it. They had the perfect fit to get him what he. IT was not a chucker. IT wasn't. I'm pretty sure he wasn't. I'm pretty sure he had elite percentages. Jaylen Brown will never have a season like how IT did that year. I don't know if I'm taking Jaylen Brown any year of his career over what Isaiah Thomas.
Why you taking Tatum over that year?
What you mean? Why am I taking Tatum?
He shot 40. He shot 40. He shot 46%, which is actually incredible for somebody his size.
30 points, right?
46%. It was basically it was 28. Yeah. It was 28. He shot 46%, 37% from three.
Season, like I'll never forget that. He was high pick in fantasy that year, and he was just killing.
Yes, but again, what I'm saying is, I don't want to say he was a system player, but I do think that it was like because I'm not saying he wasn't good, because obviously he averaged 19 in Phoenix, he averaged 20 with the Kings, but again, those weren't situations where you could also win basketball games in. What I'm saying is this: the Celtics had the core, like I said one more time, in my opinion, was Horford and Marcus Smart, because this team was still going to the conference finals before Tatum was even a thing. So that's why I'm just saying, like, I'm just still not convinced with Jason Tatum yet. Yes, I do think he's a top 10 player for sure. But again, there is a difference between being him and you you dope. Again, PG is a Hall of Famer. He's going to the Hall of Fame. When you get to the Hall of Fame, it's different levels of that Hall of Fame. And people talk about the man like he Kobe Bryant. I'm sorry, I don't see that yet.
Who talk about him like he Kobe Bryant? No, I don't think anybody like he's Kobe Bryant.
A lot of people.
That is a reach, Z. No, because he wore
people know.
Don't mean people talking about him like that.
People talk about him like he's some level of superstar, and I just don't see that.
He definitely is a level of superstar.
I don't see that.
The marketing in Boston and how big Boston is, and his production.
Yes, no. Look,
wasn't he an all-star starter?
No, look, he has. Listen. He has a Subway deal. No, look,
70 games every year of his career. He's always available.
He has a Subway deal. He's very, very marketable. Yes, but as far as on the court,
very available.
Yes, but as far as on the court play, I'm not giving superstar for Tatum yet. Just my personal opinion. But
that's blasphemous.
Me personally. But wrapping up.